Hi, everyone. I'm Bernedette Bulacan, Chief Evangelist, and welcome to the Fast Tract, where CLM experts share quick insights about AI enabled contracting. Today, I have with me Jeramy Ivener, Corporate Vice President of our Customer Success Management team. Jeremy, welcome. Tell us a little bit
Thank
about customer success at Icertis and your team.
Awesome. So customer success management is all about making our customers successful. And so the team really works with our customers and think of them as um, a broker between all of our internal teams and our customer and what the customer is trying to do and ensure that they're getting the value and the outcomes that they signed up for when they made their investment in Icertis, and ensuring that all of our teams at Icertis are rallying behind that goal that the customer has and ensuring that we're delivering the success for the customers. And for many customers, that could be things from ensuring that all of their contracts have visibility, ensuring risk is mitigated, or savings or speeding revenue. So what value and success means to a customer is really dependent on the customer, and the customer success management team is there to help extract that from the customer, help to put metrics and how do you measure what success is, and then help our internal teams at Icertis rally around delivering that success.
I am reminded by several conversations that I've had with a few customers recently about how certain decisions very early on can impact customer success in the future and sustainable success within the platform and within ICI. And one of those really important decisions is one about what do I do with all my, I'm going to use a term, legacy contracts. Should I migrate all my legacy contracts? And it's one of the more important decisions, especially if one of the value propositions, the one that I'll mention that you mentioned, was visibility. So tell me a little bit about how this decision has played out as you're looking at the ways customers experience success in the later phases, if you will.
Yeah, absolutely. So, number one is we call it legacy migration oftentimes. And I'm stealing a term that I heard relatively recently from one of our leaders, and it's
Hmm.
heritage migration. Think about all of the data of what runs a company exists within these contracts. It's not legacy, and legacy connotation is old and ancient. Whereas no, this is the data that the foundation of the company and how your business has been running is built on. And so heritage migration, our heritage data, is how do you ensure that you're keeping that heritage as you're going forward and running your business.
So, Jeremy, any best practices and considerations that our customers should think about as they scope out a heritage initiative for their implementation?
Absolutely. The number one best practice is think about it early. And number two is have a strategy. So when you think about customers and we have the benefit of all these years of other legacy system migrations, ERP migrations, procurement systems, is what is the data that I need and what's my strategy for that? And before even selecting a vendor, again, hopefully it's Icertis is your vendor, this thought process and this strategy should be thought around the master data governance and what data do I need and which heritage data do I need going into my system. So the two best practices, and this is two best practices we see some customers have missed, is have a strategy and have it early in the process.
And again, any thoughts about how far back organizations should go or strategies to actually create a universe of contracts versus going back to all the metal cabinets and physically extracting them from folders and desks.
Yeah, so absolutely, and that's where like the overwhelmingness of it comes is, oh wow, I need all my contracts and I need them now. So I'm going to have to go into all of these contract file cabinets and all my branch locations, and I need scanning, and I need OCR, I need paralegals to review it. It doesn't have to be an overwhelming experience. There is other data from other systems. You know which suppliers you're paying. You know which customers you have that you probably need agreements from. So just having the skeleton and knowing and having a perspective of here's what I need now. You know who you're paying, you know who your customers are, you know who your employees are. So you can create a prioritization based off of that. Is here are the data and the contracts I need first. The other thing is, with the heritage data is when you think about a contract lifecycle management system, it's only a subset of your actual users are the ones creating contracts. This heritage data is valuable for many more people within your organization, and they all need access to the same data from a different point of view and a different perspective. They need different parts of the contract and different parts of the data for different reasons. And so that also could play into is who is your stakeholders, who's a business, which could also play into I have data that I know what I need, when I need it from, who I need it from, which can really remove that ambiguity as I need everything and I need it now.
Well, whenever I think about large and deep and robust data pools, the data pools and the data lakes that we are creating when we create and do these migrations or this heritage gathering, using your term, I think that's a really ripe opportunity to use artificial intelligence, especially when you have volume and different systems. You mentioned a few: ERP, finance systems, procurement systems, all these different stakeholders that need contract data at different times. Any thoughts on what role AI is going to play as we are building these data lakes and sharing and making that data available to an enterprise?
So absolutely, and you were probably just scratching the surface on what is out there, but what is already there is so amazing and so much more productive than where we have been in the last 10 years of contract intelligence. You think about the co-pilots, and there was a great example from one of our Connect events a couple of years ago where one of our leaders said is, everyone can read a contract. You hope everyone can read a contract. AI gives you the ability to read that contract instantaneously. And AI, in this generative AI and the co-pilots, will give us the ability to read all our contracts at once. And so the efficiency that you get from that is the ability to look at all of these contracts. We have risk co-pilots. Where is the risk in this contract by scanning it? If you think about my legacy contracts and what was important 3 years ago and 4 years ago versus what's important now, just think about in the last 2 years, we've had huge supply chain disruptions. We had a canal get blocked, and now we've had a bridge that got knocked down. We've had 2 wars in the world. We've had sanctions that have come up. We had a pandemic, going back 4 or 5 years ago. So what was in the contract when you created a master agreement with somebody may not have been important then. Inflation, another example. Those things are all very important and relative now, and having the ability to get this heritage data, but then turn AI loose against it to identify where are these challenges in my priorities in my business that I may not have visibility to because the file cabinet in that branch office holds some of my key contracts. And then you think about the co-pilots that we have, the Discover co-pilot, and the ability to read the contract and ingest it and pull that information in so you can then report on that data. And again, we're just scratching the surface on what will come from that. If you think about, what data do I need, and having a structure of, maybe it's a skeleton in your contract management solution, Icertis, that I know I pay these suppliers, but I don't have this contract. Well, a four-way match co-pilot says, oh, now I got an invoice for this this supplier, but I don't actually have the contract, that could initiate the action to actually now go get that contract. And then AI scan, ensure that it's compliant to what you need today before you release payment and continue on potentially risky business practices or business practices that don't align with your current priorities and your current processes. So like there's so many use cases and potential for AI with this heritage data, not to mention the data going forward in your contract lifecycle management and then contract intelligence from managing and getting your new contracts.
I absolutely think that AI will play a gigantic role in creating those really deep heritage pools, and, and helping with workflows for all of the reasons that you described. I mean, I think the world is volatile, it is uncertain. You never know what type of data you will need across this data pool. And so if you have AI enabled tools to help you search, and again, the search could be for inflation, the search could be for a new supplier that's able to step into the shoes of a supplier that's unable to perform against that contract. Again, anywhere that you have volumes and you need speed and you need expertise, that will be so important. Post heritage, the initial heritage lake building.
Well, and one of the things that you said right there is, we don't want to be just a faster control F. Where are all my inflation clauses? Like the generative AI, the Copilot examples, it's not only where are these, it's what should we be doing about it? How do we accelerate it? How do we accelerate and make good business decisions from this heritage data, and be able to rally around that faster? So, AI of yesteryear was, it's a better control fine and it's a better extraction and population. Now I can make business decisions off
Well,
of it
not only
faster.
can we make business decisions, but let me put you in a workflow that enables you to do that at scale. So it's not just business
Absolutely.
decision, it is action. And I think that's a powerful, powerful combination. Well, Jeramy, I think you and I could probably spend hours talking about this topic, but thanks so much for sharing about heritage data pools. I love that. Heritage data pools, how AI will help build those pools and how AI will help provide enterprises visibility, whether it is visibility into industry metrics, business metrics, adoption metrics. It is truly a brand new world, and we're excited to partner with you and our customers to ensure that they're getting value out of the heritage pools that they're building. So thanks very much.
Awesome. I wish I could take credit for the heritage term. Wasn't mine, but I will. The most the highest, what is it? The highest recognition of flattery is imitation. So I'm taking that one and running with it. Bernedette, thank you for having me on, and we look forward to working with our customers to drive more success, more value, and help them define their programs and leverage all the technology and tools that we have to offer.
Thanks, Jeramy, and we'll see you on the next Fast Tract.